I recently dug into the data on the most common strength exercises for runners, and what I found shocked me. They barely activate the muscles that actually make you faster. So I went looking for the ones that do, and uncovered a few hidden gems most runners overlook. But before I shared the ones proven to improve your running, I want to make sure you aren't wasting your time with the duds. Starting with the clamshell exercise. This paper looked at several rehab style exercises and found that glute muscle activation was the lowest with the clamshell exercise. In fact, this second review found that the section of the glute that was actually working the hardest could only contribute 23% of a full muscle contraction. That's not going to cut it if you want enough strength gains to run faster. This same paper also alerted me to the double leg glute bridge, which averaged only 20% of maximal contraction when compiling several studies. However, the single leg bridge was more promising, averaging above 40. But before you go away and start doing single leg bridges, some of the exercises I'll describe shortly will be upwards of 80% for the same muscle fibers. So keep watching. The other common exercise that I need to name and shame is the bodyweight calf raise. And to understand why I don't like this exercise, we need to crunch the numbers on how hard your calf actually works when you run. This muscle is responsible for absorbing a large impact force and then maintaining all of that tension before returning it to the runner at push-off, the same way a spring stores and releases energy. And in order to do this effectively, it needs to generate a force that is 6 to 8 times your body weight every single step. So for a typical 70 kilogram runner, the calf is producing more than 400 kilograms of force. And hopefully you can now see why a bodyweight single leg calf raise isn't my favorite choice. In order to solve this mismatch, we need to take one of two directions. Either go significantly heavier with your calf raises or stay light and add explosiveness. Which leads me straight into the first hidden gem to help you run faster, and that is double leg hopping. Following this protocol for 6 weeks shows a significant improvement to running efficiency at 12 and 14 kilometers per hour when compared to a control group. If you want to try this out yourself and hopefully see similar gains, start with feet hip width apart and jump as high as possible while aiming for a quick ground reaction time. This protocol was done daily, starting with 10-second bouts and a 50-second rest for 5 sets, and working through this 6-week plan. But as I mentioned earlier, if explosiveness isn't up your alley, you can opt for adding extra weight. And my favorite exercise to achieve this is the double leg bent knee calf raise, aiming for 4 sets of 8 reps twice per week, with a weight close to failure at that 8 rep range, which for me is currently around 125 kilograms. And before I go any further, you're probably thinking 125 kilograms still isn't anywhere near the 400 kilograms of force that's required for running. And while that is true, this is heavy enough to stimulate a number of adaptations that can then lead the calf to better handle running loads, such as more muscle fiber recruitment, larger size of the fast twitch muscle fibers, significantly more strength gains, and greater tendon stiffness, which contributes to a more effective spring. A lot of you have commented on past videos debating whether it's just as effective to do lighter weights yet go to a single leg exercise, and I do plan to address this in future videos, so make sure you subscribe to keep updated if you want to hear my thoughts. I prefer calf raises while maintaining a small knee bend, as this biases the soleus muscle of the calf, compared to the gastrocnemius, which is dominant during a straight leg calf raise. This is important because your soleus is the muscle that's working 6 to 8 times your body weight, and the gastrocnemius is only working around 2 to 3 times your body weight. We still have 2 more hidden gems to help you run faster. But if you enjoy content like this and want to learn more running research, then subscribe to the Run Smarter podcast. Fans of this channel will particularly enjoy my research episodes, which I release at the end of each month. I keep a very constant eye on the hundreds of running papers that are released throughout the month. So then, when it comes to recording, the last podcast of the month, I pick the best 3 to 4 papers that I think will benefit your running the most, and I discuss them on that episode. You'll also find episodes where I interview running researchers and other health professionals to help your running performance. So type in the Run Smarter podcast in your podcast directory of choice, and next time, when you're out for a run, you can build upon your running IQ at the same time. The next exercise I hardly see any runners doing. It is the hip hike also known as the hip hitch or the pelvic drop. This is the exercise that easily outperformed the clamshell and the bridge, and has been shown in other papers to achieve around 80% of maximal contraction. But I think it is often overlooked because it can be initially a tricky exercise to execute. But follow my instructions carefully and you should be fine. While keeping your legs straight, raise one heel 1 inch off the ground with the feeling that you're lifting your whole body straight up towards the ceiling without side flexing your trunk. This will activate the glute muscles, in particular the glute medius, on the stance leg, which is the primary focus for this exercise. Then lower your heel down and gently touch the ground, like you're lightly squashing a marshmallow before repeating the upward lift. If after a few reps you're feeling a burn in the glutes, you're likely doing this correctly. You can then progress to a higher surface where you can move through a slightly larger range of movement. Just make sure the fatigue in the glutes remains the same. Readjust and check your form if you notice any soreness in the ITB or the lower back or fatigue patterns in areas other than the glute medius. You can hold onto something with balance with the hand on the same side as the workout leg, but make sure it's light fingertip balance only. And the beauty about this exercise that you can't really do with clamshells and bridges is that you can progress with significantly heavier weight when your body feels up to it. Just hold onto a dumbbell or a kettlebell on the opposite side of the workout leg and keep it close to your body so that it lifts up when your body drives up. I say this because I've seen some runners hitching with the weight staying in the same position and it nullifies any effect. Perform 3 to 4 sets of 8 reps on each side 1 to 2 times per week, progressing in weight once you feel ready. This next exercise I've had to change my stance on, because for years I haven't really found compelling enough evidence to support core exercises as a way to boost your running performance. But I did find this paper, and while it is a small study, it is having me reconsider things. It showed running economy enhancements after an 8-week core training program when compared to a control group. And yes, it did include variations of a bridge, but also included crunches, front planks, and side planks, and eventually progressing to 40 mountain climbers, a 60-second pull-off press, 25 single leg bridges on a wobble board, and 30-second holds for front and side plank variations. This protocol was done 3 times per week, so follow this frequency and hopefully you see the same results. Like I mentioned, these are less commonly used by runners, so hopefully this video has you thinking differently. But if you're curious on the most common and effective exercises I use when working with runners, then go no further than this video, which covers my favorite 4 exercises for every runner wanting to run faster. All you need to do is click on this thumbnail and it will take you straight to that video.